Welcome back to the third and final segment of the Loveland Report and Lone Ranger Show, the longest running real estate and
in the
mortgage
history
show.
of the planet.
I think it's the history of the planet. I don't know anybody else that does it.
Well, and all other planets too that we know of.
I think so. I mean, Clark Howard's your consumer warrior. He's been on the air, I think, as long as I have.
Yep.
But it doesn't talk about just all real estate.
No, it's not real estate.
We will save you money.
He's
we will
a
make you money.
consumer advocate.
We will do that. So I want to talk about a couple things, Bruce. I dug into family, and if you want to have, if you've got investment property, worst thing you can do is let a family member move into a rental. You will not get market rent. You will never feel comfortable about moving them out. You are better off to give that family member $5,000 and wish them luck and say, I'll help you however I can, but keep those things at market value. I mentioned somebody at the top of the show, 3 different properties, only getting like $700, $900 rent when they should have been getting $1,500 to $2,000 in rent. And it's literally cost them their life. They are circling the bottom, needing the money. So anyway, you want to lose
money. It's not a good idea to rent to family and friends. And I think that's one of the main mistakes that people make when they have
or becoming friends with the tenant. Oh, they're great. They don't ever call me. I'm like, well, do you know what it looks like? Do you know? So it doesn't matter. It's an investment. So I want to dig into that. That's just one of the biggest mistakes I see people making on all the property management we do. And then I got a lot of sellers emailing me, Bruce, and people that call me for my 50-point staging checklist. And they're asking what to fix first. And that's why I need to walk through the house. And like I said, I just saw somebody this morning, a DBO listener, and went through what they needed to do. The house was great, but the family had been there 15 years. They were stuff. And then one of the sons had moved back home. And so they needed to just clean some stuff up. There wasn't a whole bunch of money to be spent. This was literally have some garage sales, make some money, or have an estate sale, or get a storage unit if this stuff is going with you. But these changes in life, if you're downsizing, this gentleman, he's got a bum knee, so he doesn't want to go upstairs to the master bedroom anymore. So it's just things like that. I can tell you what to fix first. And most of the time, Bruce, people think they need to spend about 4 or 5% of the price of their home to fix it up. I get them done for about 1 to 2%. And I even help with some of those things too. I've got the yard guy, I've got the painter, I've got the kitchen guy, but I rarely go that deep into a remodel. I've got a flooring guy, but most of the time it's just clean and neat and empty. You don't want people walking down the hallway looking at your family gallery of all your photos of your travels around the world for the past 30 years or your grandma's Beanie Baby collection. You want it neutralized. Just like when you go into a builder's model, they're very sparse.
Sure.
There's not much in there. They've done focus groups on what sells best.
Well, they are going to furnish it, and they're going to make it look as big as they possibly can. They love mirrors and things like that. But you know what? That's what people want when they go.
I've had some people clean up their house and do a little bit of prep work and staging and just spring cleaning. And they called me back going, you know what? We're gonna stay for a while. I mean, we're gonna wait another year, and I'm fine with that.
Love it or list it.
Yeah. So exactly that kind of thing. So, but there's no arguing with that. I don't argue with them like that.
No. No, we don't want, we want what you want. If you want something, we want to help you get it. One other thing that I've seen a lot of is a lot of manufactured homes are becoming more popular right now. And I've seen manufactured homes going up in value that we didn't really see too much of in the past. Usually they depreciated. Now they're starting to appreciate. But there's a couple things I want to warn you about when it comes to manufactured homes. First of all, when was it built? You have to be aware of that, because if it's a double wide and it was built before 76, you're not going to get a loan on it. If it's a single wide, don't buy it unless you want to pay cash for it, because you can't finance them after they're 10 years old. They're very difficult to do. The other thing is, don't ever buy one where you don't own the land unless you want to pay cash for it and keep it, because you can't get a mortgage on that. That's called chattel. So don't do that. But what I have seen is a lot of folks that are more interested in manufactured homes. So there's a lot of pros and cons. The pros are you can get a lot of square footage for the money in many cases, and they are appreciating in value. There's some new laws that are coming into effect that is called the Housing for the 21st Century Act. And one of the bills that they're passing, and this is bipartisan, is a bill to make it so manufactured homes don't have to be made and then shipped on wheels to the location. They're now going to build them more like modular homes, and it should eliminate the fact that they're considered manufactured and give people better
And
rates.
that's considered modular, right? Instead
Well,
of
if they are
manufactured.
like a modular home is a home that's a regular home, but it's built in pieces in a factory and assembled on a slab. There actually can be even better because they are built to an exact dimension. They're built in jigs. So that wall is built exactly, and it's going to be square,
Yep.
and it's going to be 12 foot, eight
Yep.
and a quarter inches, if that's
Yep.
what it's supposed to be.
Yep.
But on a house, you will always see, even with new construction, there can be a little bit of a difference. This
Yeah.
wall is a
Yep.
little longer than
Mhm.
that wall. And you may not notice it until you put your fridge up against it and you go, why is there a little bit bigger gap
Well,
over
it's
here
funny to
than-"
see. It's like the 3D printed homes. You
Yeah,
had somebody doing those, right?
I do.
I saw an article on those on Fox News of those in Texas. They're actually really nice looking homes, and they
They
did some
can be
big
very
homes. It looked
nice.
like a $500,000 or $600,000 to $700,000 neighborhood. Things like that come up, and different types of material. I've seen tilt wall concrete. There was a neighborhood out in
Yes.
Groveland that had that. So it's just interesting to see. But the builders will find the best way to deliver the best product. If it doesn't work, it's kind of like the oil crisis in the 70s. Did you remember the geodesic domes that
Yes.
popped up?
Oh gosh.
That looked like little warts, like a Compound W wart
They
commercial.
look like
Yeah.
they look like Epcot, only
Yeah,
smaller.
yeah, it's a lot smaller. So things
But you
like that.
can't finance those either because they're obsolescence. It's like when people come to me and they want to buy a home and they say it's a log cabin. Well, that's fine. I can lend on a log cabin, but you have to have the appraiser comp it with other log cabins. Be aware of
Yep.
obsolescence when you're
Mhm.
buying real estate. That's why people come
Yep.
to me. I don't know much about a lot of things, but I know a ton about mortgages, real estate, how
Yep.
to navigate it, how to help coach my clients in the right direction. And to be honest with you, a lot of them aren't picking good real estate agents. Can you believe that, Cleve? Can you believe it? I
Well,
know it's frustrating for
you
you.
and I were in a room full of, or well, like you weren't there. You were there. Yeah, you were there at the coaching program that came to
Yes,
town.
I sponsored it. Yes, I think
You
I
were there.
was
You were
there.
there. Yes, 400 people in the room, 400 realtors in
Yep.
the room. They asked how many had sold more than 5 homes a year previous, and less than half the room stood up.
Yeah, it really
And
is.
then as soon as they went above 20, there was only about 10 people standing.
Yeah.
Me including one of them. And it amazes me. Now it's good for my business, Bruce, because I don't have a lot of competition, but it does it muddies the waters.
Well, you have to
And
deal with real estate is one of the only businesses where you actually have to work with a competitor on the other side of the transaction.
I don't
on
really
many
consider them a
cases.
competitor. I'll help them however I
There are,
can.
but
But with all the virtual brokerages out there's no brick and mortar office. There's no sales manager to walk down the hall to, and it's their friend from the pickleball club, and they sold 2 homes in the last 7 years, and I'll help you. And they let the buyer, they just mislead the buyer. They don't know how to guide them and say, guys, the homes in this neighborhood are selling for 750.
right.
Why on earth would you write an offer for 650? You're just going to make this hard.
Yes.
And that's what muddies the market. And literally, I don't know how you lose your real estate license. I think I've known people that
By
have
committing
felonies.
fraud, but I see it
I've
all
seen
the
those
time.
come back in. I've seen people that I know for a fact have frauds and felony on their record, and they're back selling real estate.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful who you choose, and always make sure, especially with the buyer broker agreements or your listing agreement, you can fire that realtor with no cost to you. I have several. I have a list on my
Is
hand.
there a place in the buyer broker agreement
Both
that
contracts
says that?
have, at least mine do, that says cancellation. And mine says, I've had people nickel and diamond people for miles to drive to the property to hang the lockbox and charging them for the sign they put up, yet they had not talked to that realtor in 90
Oh
days.
boy.
I had one that thought their local office for that realtor. This was in Cocoa. I was trying to get the listing for a while. They wanted help. They couldn't find the realtor to dismiss them and fire them. And then they would not let them out. They knew where to find them. It was the local bar. It was the bar stool at the end of the local bar. And they still would not let them out of the contract unless they paid a big fee. So they sat unhappily for 90 days.
It's
And now
that
I'm taking care of
insane.
them, and I should have them sold in the next month or two. So to save yourself a lot of headaches, just call me first, 407-352-8118, or go to cleveloveland.com.
Yeah, get your mortgage approved, purchase, refinance, construction loans, renovation loans, reverse mortgages, home equity line of credit, down payment assistance, anything you need when it comes to buying a home. FHA, VA, USDA 0 down, FHA special loans with no money down. I mean, if you need it, I got it. DSCR is super popular.
I got one
right
for you
now.
on DSCR.
Bank statement loans. Anything you need, I got it. My name's Bruce Woodburn. I'm the loan arranger, and you can call me or text me at 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com.
Cash investor owns a house, cash outright,
Yes.
getting about $3,500 a month in rent.
Yes.
Can they do a cash out refi, DSCR?
Absolutely.
And so what would that look like? You still compare the rents, or do you look at the property value?
You're going to use the rent. So you want about a 1-to-1 ratio rent to mortgage payment. If you have 30% in equity, I can oftentimes eliminate that rule altogether.
Okay.
It doesn't always happen, but it is the case.
Is that DSCR rate higher on a cash out refi like it would be on a regular cash out refi?
Yeah. Anytime you're cashing out, you're going to pay a little bit more of a premium to the rate.
Like a point?
Yeah. Well, you can take it in the form of a point, or you can take it in a little bit higher interest rate, but there is add-ons to that. But even Fannie Mae, like your best mortgage for a conventional loan, your best one would be a credit score over 760.
Yep.
It doesn't matter anymore if you're putting 5% or 20%. Fannie Mae likes you to pay PMI, so they give you oftentimes a little bit better rate. Yeah, they want PMI because they have some protection in that. So oftentimes a rate can be a little lower with less money down. However, the higher the loan amount, and that stops when you exceed the limit, like 823. But the higher the loan amount, you can also get your rate down a little bit lower. So, but even Fannie Mae, that's your best. Then you have second home. Then you have investment. Then if you even own the property and it's primary residence and you're doing a rate and term refinance, meaning I'm only refinancing my balance like I'm doing for a ton of people right now to lower your rate is still slightly higher than a purchase transaction would be.
Okay.
And then if you're cashing money out, it's more even then.
Do you have anybody right now going from a 30 to a 15? What are the 15
Absolutely.
What are the 15-year rates?
Oh, you can get in the low fives. You can absolutely get in the low fives. You may even be able to buy it into the high fours, but absolutely. Like if you said, Bruce, I got a 7.5% or 7.25% 30-year fixed rate. I want to refi it right now to 5.99 on a conventional loan. I could do that. But why don't we look at going to a 15-year? Your payment won't go down like it would have if I stuck with a 30, but you're going to knock off several $100,000 in interest over the life of the loan. Now, should you do that if you want to turn it into a rental property? Most of the time, I'm going to say no. Don't do that.
I like to see cash flow. Yes. I like the cash flow. I see people, they react and they have a better feeling about that. My panicky landlords, I talked about one earlier. My panicky landlords only have a couple $100 of cash flow.
Yeah.
And a month. And if that. And
we're seeing investors buying right now with no cash flow.
Yeah.
And you know, and I've done it, you've done it, but I do it if I know I'm getting a deal on the house because I'm going to get appreciation on it.
Yep.
So, but I see investors, and most of them, they say, look at, I'm in the waiting game, man. This is a long play. This is not a short play.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep this property. I'll depreciate it. I get tax advantages from it.
Well, I'm closing another rental this month. I want to buy 3 more this year. I've already bought one. I've got another one under contract. Now is the time.
Yep. It absolutely is. So listen, we got about a minute to go. What are a couple of important things that you want to say to people out there that are looking to buy or sell right now?
I think the main thing, if you are looking, call me and I can either have a conversation with you and say, all right, I think you're 90 days away from us sitting down and seeing anything. They talk about spending a whole bunch of money on their house they're going to sell. I'm like, wait a minute, let me come see that right away. I can swing by for 30 minutes and help you with that. I am flexible on that with your plan. I know what's,
so what you're telling them is make an appointment with you. You'll spend the time to give them the guidance.
Call me, because it might just be a phone call right now, Bruce, or maybe a Zoom call, but call me at 407-352-8118.
Right. And for the loan arranger, here's why you call me. I have 35 years experience in the mortgage business. I guarantee you will not be sold on anything. I'm going to provide you with everything. We're going to do a Zoom call. You all get Zoom calls or meet in person, but we have to go over the numbers live. You don't understand things when it's conceptual. You have to have a visual. The loan arranger will get on the phone. Me personally will get on a Zoom call with you, and we will make sure you understand every closing cost. Why do you pay it? Should you pay it? What are buy downs? Why is this cost here? What am I paying for? Everything you should know, your payment, the taxes, your cash to close, all of it. 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.